with the Bulls. All right. So look, the Bulls are actually, if you look at the Bulls, right? They actually, were a team last year that didn't make the playoffs. They didn't make the play in, and now they made a few moves over the off season. Now they are in number one, number two contention in the East, which is amazing. All right, DeRozan having the MVP season. So we want to talk about their ceiling. We want to know how far they can go this season. And the first person on kick us off, my man Blaze. So Blaze, tell us, what are the Bulls' ceiling this season?
I feel like they could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and yeah, I got them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see too many teams beating them other than Philly and probably Milwaukee and Brooklyn, which is three teams. But at the end of the day, if they end up getting the number one seed, they'll have to play eighth seed, which they'll probably breeze past, especially if they get the second or third seed. Any of those lower seeds, they're going to breeze past. The second round, it may be a little difficult for them, but I don't. I real like the way DeMar DeRozan is playing this year. I feel like he's on another level. I had concerns about him and questions about him earlier on because I didn't think he was the guy that could really get it done. But it's like he's just on another level. I don't think I've ever seen him play this efficiently and this determined. And since he's been in the league, just in my opinion, even his days in Toronto, I feel like he was a dog, but I don't think he reached that level where he's at now. I think he's at his peak right now, and I think he's going to cause a lot of problems for people, as well as Vucevic. I believe that's a key piece, and he's going to cause a lot of problems as well for bigs, other than the Embiids and the Giannis's, but anybody else in the Eastern Conference. He's going to cause a lot of problems for. Lonzo is an amazing floor general, and he's only going to keep getting better. And I think he's one of the type of guys because of his knowledge of the game and how smart he is and his IQ. I feel like he's one of them guys that could elevate his game in the playoffs. Once he gets the breakdown film and once they see teams, more than one time. So I feel like they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't have them beaten. If they was to run into a Milwaukee, I don't have them beating Milwaukee. If they run into the Sixers, to be honest, that's a toss up for me because James Harden still, in my opinion, still has a lot to prove when the money is really on the line. And until he does that, I'm still going to have my question marks about James Harden. But I think the Bulls can make the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, that's I think what their ceiling is.
All right.
All right. For me, I'm a, I'm gonna have to say they're ceiling, with luck, and getting a great matchup. I think their ceiling is the Eastern Conference Final, but I don't even see them really getting there. I mean, we talked about this earlier on the last show, and I still have them in that same spot as that mid level team. I mean, there's a lot of teams because it's only about two elite teams to me that's actually final worthy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the Bucks and I think Philly. Those are the only two people I see come. I mean, only two teams I see coming out of the East for real. Uh, just the Bulls and themselves right now they're diving defensively, so it's like they don't have anybody right now that's like. I mean, Lonzo and Alex out, so that's a big piece right there for their defense and whatnot. But even when they were there, they're they're not they're not they're not better than the playoff teams. That like they're I think they're like 4-14 against like the top six Eastern Conference teams. So it's like Philly had already swept them. I think Philly has beaten them 4 times. Miami has beaten them 3 times, and they're headed back there Monday to finish up. So it's like the only team that they have actually beaten is Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to call them a playoff team, but look at what they're at now. And like I said, they're beating up a lot of bad teams, and they're beating on them. But all the winning teams, they're really not in. You know what I'm saying? They really can't keep up with them. So for me, I'm gonna say that they're still right there. But if they get the good matchup, anything can happen. But I just don't see them moving like anything further than what they are So they're a good team though, but I think that's it.
Okay, okay. Um, I was very high on the Bulls early in the year. Joe, I had them. I said that's gonna be a top three team from the jump, just based off the roster. Um, DeRozan's having a great year. You know, well, I see them getting. I can see them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals as their ceiling. I can agree with Blaze on that. Just because I feel like DeRozan is going off right now, but Levine ain't start yet. And I feel like when the playoffs start, that's when Levine gonna definitely show everybody who he really is. Cause he's not really getting no shine, even though he's having a good year as well. Then you also, when you bring back Caruso and you bring back Ball, you get your defensive guys, you get your guys that can run the break for you, you get your guys that just get the team moving and grooving. And I feel like they're a big threat to teams, especially teams like the Nets, and the Bucks. I can't say the Sixers yet, but those are two teams that they really have to fear. But I think they can definitely get to the Eastern Conference Finals just off their roster, and they got the scoring ability. Their defense is kind of shaky, but the East in the East, I feel like those only two teams that I named, the Bucks and the Nets, are only two teams that I can really be like, oh, they have to have great defense for, or because they can score with anybody. So I can agree and say Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, cool, cool. So look, me too. I think their ceiling is the Eastern Conference Finals, and with some breaks, they can get out the East like the Bucks did last year with some breaks. And here's why. So first, I like Ron and Javon, like I talked about, they are hovering around a number one and number two seed without Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball. They're two best on ball defenders. And then Derrick Jones Jr. missed some time too. And he's probably one of their best defenders. But like he does a lot of the dirty work that we don't really talk about. He's a very key piece in our roster, I believe. And he's a good offensive rebounder too. I mean, like when I watch y'all, he get a lot of hustle rebounds, stuff like that. But Lonzo been out since January 14th. Caruso been out since the 21st, almost 2 months. So, and they're still, like I said, hovering on the first and second seed. So when I watched that Miami game last night, I didn't really look at that game as a measuring stick of the Bulls because they didn't have those two players. Because Lonzo is a great 3-point shooter. We all know that. And then, like you said, Javon, Zach LaVine hasn't even showed up yet. It's going to be his first appearance in the playoffs, and he got something to prove. And if you look at
Facts.
the Bulls, they kind of made a mistake, when not the Miami game, the game before that they lost. Like DeRozan been on this hot streak, and I think it kind of got to their head. Towards the fourth quarter, all they was doing is looking for DeRozan. Like Levine wasn't involved at all. But I think when the playoffs come, that's not going to happen. My only issue with the Bulls, I don't know how Billy Donovan is going to adjust in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, it's kind of like they know you like the back of their hand. It's kind of like the best team wins. But the good thing about the Bulls, they got two bona fide scorers when the game slows down. Like I said, when the teams know you like the back of their hand, when you need those ISO scores to get you a bucket when everybody's tired, they got two people that can do that. DeRozan and Zach LaVine. And you can't say that a lot about people in the East. Now, other than the Sixers and the Nets. Now, we could bring up Miami. I know somebody said Miami in the comments. I think Miami do have a complete team. They got a good team. Like Jimmy Butler, he can show up at times, but he's not consistent. We saw that against LA. The reason why he lost our finals because he can't be consistent on the 7-game series, being that guy. He took games off that series, right? You got Bam, but Bam is more like he's more like he's not that guy. He's not a go-to player. They got Tyler Hero. I mean, I get you, but Zach LaVine and DeRozan, they're equal. You look at their numbers, it's kind of equal. It's just that DeRozan just had that stretch. That's why they defer more to DeMar. But I got them going to the East. I don't got them going, but they could get to the Eastern Conference Finals with the right matchups, and they could get out the East with the right break. If the Nets not healthy, and like you said, Blaze, against the Sixers, they can beat the Sixers, man. They can really beat the Sixers because the Sixers, one thing they
They
don't have
can.
is depth. They don't have depth. Now they could
Yeah.
now, but the Sixers will be favored going in. Now they will be playing each other. I'm picking the Sixers, right? But they can't beat the Sixers. So that's my take. I think they have the potential to make it to the Eastern Conference
Yeah,
Finals.
I agree.
They definitely, yeah. I agree too.
Yeah,
And
me too.
one thing I
Oh,
add.
can I hop in?
Yes,
Go ahead. Go
sir.
ahead.
Go ahead, Javon. Go ahead,
No, you
Javon.
go ahead first.
All
I'm
right.
gonna let the Bulls fan go
Like you
first.
said, you even just alluded to, like you just said. You just said if if Philly gets them in a matchup, you're gonna sit here and say Philly, but Chicago can win. Yes, I'm saying the exact same thing. They
Yeah.
can win with breaks and good matchups, but I don't think and like you said, you even said it. When you in a series with somebody, they know you like the back of their hand, and if they don't already beat you 4 times already, they know you already through the season. So just in the playoffs, it's nothing. Like you said, Billy Donovan will have to make a quick adjustment, but we'll see how that goes. But that's all I wanted to say with that.
But
So I don't see them.
But
go ahead, Javon. Go ahead.
so they beat them 4 times, but they didn't have their 14. So they don't know them by the back of their hand for real. You know, they didn't have Caruso and Ball for all those games. I'm pretty sure they did. So I can't just say they know them already, you know, because those two dudes are very dynamic. Like they can pass really good. They can finish really good. They can they're really like they can run the floor very well, and they make the teams. Like in LA when Caruso was there, it was like a show. And I ain't gonna say it's because of Caruso, you know, solely him, but he played a big part of that. The dude got bunnies. He can hit the three. He'll cross you. He can do the fancy passes. So him and Ball are two dynamic players, and I feel like when them two back, that's gonna make the Bulls very dangerous.
Yeah. So Ron. All right. Now, J-Mo had a good point. You can't like that's another thing. DeRozan, you're right. He does disappear in the playoffs against LeBron, right? But and against the Wizards one time. But Ron, in the playoffs, I do not trust Doc Rivers. Nobody's talking about this.
At all.
Doc Rivers is a choke artist. Doc Rivers don't make no adjustments in the
I
playoffs
understand.
like that, you know. So and he always had the better team when
Right.
he lost. So that's why.
And I
So
think Billy Donovan does the same.
you're right. So we're concerned about Billy Donovan, but I'm
But
also concerned about Doc Rivers, bro. Like Doc Rivers, I will not be surprised. Now, look, they got the team. If they get to the finals, I won't be surprised. If they get bounced in the second round, I won't be surprised. I won't blame Harden or Embiid. I know Harden had his mistakes in the past. I'm going 100% blame Doc Rivers. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, so that's why when the Bulls meet the Sixers, we can't. Well, Billy Donovan did have Kevin Durant, and he had Kevin Durant, and is that Billy Donovan, right? He coached OKC at one
yeah,
point,
that
right?
was
On
Billy
my show.
Donovan.
I
Yeah,
That
think
was
one
Billy
year.
Donovan.
I think one year.
yeah,
with
the
Kevin
3-1
Durant.
lead, right? That was Billy Donovan, right? 3-1 against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw him too.
Yeah.
So they two choke artists, right? So, but I mean, I don't know because the fact that the and the B, let's say the B, and like Javon said, Zach LaVine. We haven't seen we haven't seen Zach LaVine in the playoffs. So right now it's like an anonymous thing right now, and he has some. I believe he's gonna come in here with something to prove, you know. And so I don't know. I got them going to not going, but they got a potential to go to the Eastern Conference Final.
Everybody's got something to prove, Joe, in the playoffs.
No,
Come
he's
with that.
anonymous.
But like I
He's
said, that's my
anonymous.
team. I'm
Yeah, I know it's your
You got me
team.
to talk about Zach LaVine.
So look, you are a good fan because you being hard on your squad. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You being hard on the squad.
yeah, I'm always objective. You know,
That's
why I do. I tell the
we
truth.
need more people
Y'all
like
know.
you.
He hard on
All
everybody,
right.
Joe, not just his squad.
You said what?
He hard on everybody, not just his squad.
Oh, we're gonna find out in the rest of the show. We're gonna see. Especially I want to hear on this next topic, all right? Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.